Hello everybody, Calamity here, and this has to be one of the hardest challenges I've ever done in this heckin' video game. That is the Stygian Onslaught on Fearless difficulty. Now, I normally stray away from doing it on this difficulty for a good reason, and that's because it's simply not worth it challenge reward-wise, because you just get... I mean, the feather is nice, sure, but it's not worth it, man. Why is it not worth? Well, if it's easy for you because you have INEFFA, you got LAUMA, they're gonna make your life 10,000 times more easier. The reason I don't say it's worth it is because, at least for me, it took me about 6 hours worth of retries across all 3 of these fights. And I'm not talking about like one in particular took me 6 hours or each one. I'm talking about like the whole thing was just non-stop retry, just hoping I got the best RNG and the best setup. For at least for in particular, a little bit of Battlefield 2, but mostly Battlefield 3. Battlefield 1's probably the least of my problems, but we're gonna talk about all the bosses and stuff. So the first one, Battlefield 1, the easiest one is the Aeon Blight Drake. If you are doing this at difficulty 5 and above, remember that the mechanics are different than if you're doing it from difficulties 1 through 4. That's normal through menacing. So the difference here being is that you can see they want you to bring multi-element damage and not just a single target damage. And that is because in increments of 25% of this boss's HP, it will gain a gigantic resistance to the damage it took the most damage of. So if you brought, let's say, a Klee Pyro, Mono Pyro team, this boss at 75% HP, once you get it there, is going to gain a gigantic pyro resistance for the entire fight because you're not applying different elements. So what you need to do, this is going to be different for everybody, is you need to bring a team that will consist of 2 main DPSs that can generally do well without having, like, they don't need a full team. If you're looking for examples, I used Navia and Malvika because Malvika only needs Silali and Navia only cares about doing Crystallize as much as possible. And then we brought Shilin in. I'll show you my teams as well. Let me just get on over here. So here's the teams I used for all 3 chambers if you want to take a look. So yeah, I just brought Shilin in just for more damage, heals, and Navia is going to be our other DPS when it gains Pyro Resistance. So it goes between Pyro Resistance, Geo Resistance, Pyro Resistance, Geo Resistance. So you're basically just changing what your main DPS is for that half. And there's a little bit of RNG involved for my first half team, or my Battlefield 1 team, simply because Navia doesn't have 100% crit rate. So when we do these big hits with Navia and she doesn't crit, that's a big oof and possibly a big time loss. But we can still somewhat beat it consistently. Like I said, we'll show you the runs in a bit here. Second one is the Crab from Nodcry. This is one of the local legends. If you fought those bosses, you might be familiar. If not, basically you have to bring Bloom. That is not a, oh, maybe you can bring Bloom if you want. No, you have to bring Bloom. I don't care what Bloom it is. Hyper Bloom, Nilo Bloom, Quick Bloom. But it cannot be Virgin. As you can see, Pyro has a gigantic thumbs down, because if you bring Pyro, it says right here, you will take an increased amount of damage and you'll get knocked all the way back to Sunday. It hits pretty hard and you get punished when you detonate one of the seeds with Pyro, so don't bring Pyro. So your options are, obviously, LAUMA is great here if you have her, but if you don't, Nilo Bloom is going to help you out. Hyper Bloom is going to help you out. Pick one or the other. We'll talk about my strats in the fight. And the last, but certainly not least, and one of the most annoying fights that we have ever seen, is this, I'm just gonna call him the Fatui Shield guy, because that's what he is. He has a gigantic shield that is destroyed more efficiently with Electrocharge. You can see that here. Once you bring the Electrocharge character, so of course, Flynn's if you pull from in the future, or INEFFA if you pulled for in the past. Gonna be great here. If you have other Electrocharge teams that you're more than, confident in their damage and their single target damage, bring them. If it's a Raiden Shogun Electrocharge team, Tartaglia Electrocharge team with some Constellation, whatever you got, bring the best thing you got. I do not have a good Electrocharge team, at least not for this level of content, or this level of difficulty. So what I did was I brought my Skirk team. Now, I will admit, I did not come up with a lot of these strategies. You will see by myself. I did steal them from YouTubers, other YouTubers that did the Spiral Abyss. I will give credit in the comments, and I will give credit when I talk about it in more detail in the upcoming fights. But now, all that has been said, I'm sorry for the yapping. You probably just want to skip on over to the fights anywho. So let's begin, and we're going to do this in order from top to bottom. So let's go ahead and begin with the Aeon Blight Drake fight. As you can see, I already have timers up, so yes, I did legitimately beat these boss fights already on this difficulty, excuse me, and I am just doing it again for your entertainment, and hopefully it doesn't take me 6 hours. Alright, Aeon Blight, so here we go. Not much to say. I just want to get Lolly's first as soon as possible. We're already about to approach that 75%. Once we see it, now Navi is our main DPS. We'll fit in one more shot. Maybe, or maybe even another one here. Hey! We're getting ready for the next half. Okay, last bit. It's not gonna be pretty, and I didn't beat my PB, but we got it. There you go. That is the Aeon Blight. Just a reminder, I will be showcasing my builds after. Alright, commentating Calamity here, and I've just recorded the second fight, and I'm just gonna be pausing it as we go through the video, or the fight here, so I can like pause and talk about what I'm doing. So I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to Novb Make. I don't know if I said that correctly. Again, I will have his video and channel on the bottom of the in the pinned comments if you want to check out his channel where I stole this strap from. But basically, we are going to... I'm going to use Nila Bloom here, right? And you don't have to if you don't have Nila. If you have a Hyper Bloom team you're more comfortable with, by all means. That's also probably going to do probably even better. Anyways, so let's go ahead and begin here. So immediately I just run and you use Jincho's skill twice with the Sacrificial Sword. And we're going to make sure he gets his burst. Now, if your Jincho is not getting his burst after these two elemental skills, you need to give him an Energy Sands along with the Sac Sword and try to get, you know, even after all that, just, if that's still not enough, try to get some energy recharge on your substats. So you can see here, he gets his burst immediately, but don't use it. We're just going to save it for when we knock out the crab. It's to get it ready. Now, what you want to do is if you're using Nihida, this is where you would swap to her and you hold the skill on the boss and you wait for it to lift up. As soon as you see it ascend, or just like that, let go of the skill because you'll make a Dendro Core right at the bottom. Now, in a perfect world in the video that I saw, they did it like right smack dab in the middle. Look where my cursor is, like right there in the middle. If you get it there, I don't know how you do it. I tried this like fight a bajillion times. I could never get it. But if you get it there, that is perfect. That Dendro Core will explode in just the right spot to knock out, again, multiple seeds, and you'll get an instant knockout on the boss, which is optimal. I don't get that. So you'll see here. If you're wondering my rotation is, you should do Nilo's skill here to get ready for the better Denjo cores, right? Because we're getting ready to basically damage the boss because it's going to come crashing down. So we want to get all of our stuff ready. And you can see here, I do the quick scan with Nahida, and I get most of the seeds you can see because of where the location of the Denjo core was. It was just like outside of these two cores right here. That's why if you get it smack dab in the center, that's ideal. But if you don't get all 6 immediately, it's okay. Just do a quick bloom like I just did right there. And bam, you can see that's an insta-down, well, you know, close to an insta-down knockout. You want to minimize your downtime here when he's floating up in the air. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward. Your priority here is the seeds first and foremost, and then doing simultaneous bloom damage to the boss when you can. If you guys have ever seen that SpongeBob episode where Squidward's like, empty your mind except fine dining and breathing, that's going to be you in this fight. Empty your mind except detonating those seeds and blooming. That is literally all you do. And that's actually the same thing. And breathing. Don't forget to breathe. So yeah, use your Nahida to apply Denjo to those seeds when you can, and then try to get closer than I did. See, I missed this back seed right here. Yes, the quicker you clear out the seeds, the faster they will respawn back and help you do a ton of damage to the boss. So again, this is not optimal, but I'm showing you that you don't have to play super optimal just to beat this, even though I barely beat it. So there's the last seed. Then once you're here, this is just be mindful of the attacks, right? Dodge when you can, but just keep doing bloom. So if you're using a Nilo team, sorry I'm pausing a lot, this is just gonna how it be. You know, make sure your Nilo's skill is up all the time. I even use the aura version, right, where she has the little water aura, just to keep playing more Hydro. Get Jincho out here with his burst, use Kali's burst, or whoever is your other Dendro, and then of course Nahida her burst, and constantly keep tagging those seeds as they spawn. You can see they spawn right next to me. Don't let them sit there for too long. And then bloom. Just keep blooming. Keep blooming. Reapply your stuff as needed. Do your rotation. Around the half-ish point. So if you're looking at the timer and you're looking at the boss of the health, if you can get to about the half in a minute, you're doing great. If you're at like 50-ish seconds, you're still okay. You're just gonna have to play tight towards the second half, but you're still okay. This is a good time here. Now again, when he's about to do the half, I don't do this, but you should. Try to do the same setup that you did for the first part of this boss fight. As in, get your Jincho's burst ready, but don't use it. And then have Nahida tag the boss before it floats up. If you can do that and get a Denjo core right smack dab in the center, you are going to be golden. So right here, he's about to float up. You can see when he's kind of just like stops and he's not attacking you, seeds aren't spawning anymore. That's your tell that he's going to just float up again. So see, you can see I don't get the Denjo core. I messed up. That's okay too if you don't get it either. You can see here, I pre-apply Nilo's burst, and that is enough because of the Denjo application to get an instant knockdown. That is what you want to do. If you can't get the Denjo core early to spawn, try to do what I did there. If you're using Nilo. If you're doing Hyper Bloom, just do what you did before. Then it's just, honestly, it's the same thing as the first. After you knocked it down the first time, you're just doing Bloom again. Make sure that the seeds are getting detonated as fast as possible. Now, there's one thing I will point out. Sometimes after the big, you know, when he floats up into the air and you knock it down, sometimes those seeds on the outer edge don't explode for whatever reason. I don't know if that messes with the seed spawn timing, but feel free to ignore those and just focus on the ones that it spawns near you, because you're gonna lose a lot of time anyways having to run all the way over there. And, you know, and then tag it with Nahida's skill and try to get it with Bloom. It's just not worth it. And there's not much else to say after here. It's just, I'm doing my bursts, I'm doing my blooms. I will admit it got a little panicky towards the end. It did. You know, a little mashy, but just try to stay calm. Try to set up your blooms, and you should be good. So you can see I even beat my PB by 1 second. Ooh, I did it in 1:19. So we had 1 whole second to spare. This fight, again, it's not mechanically hard once you figure out the little trick to auto knock it out. Because, you know, after that, it's just do bloom or hyper bloom. You know, whatever team you decided to go with. It's pretty straightforward, and that's why it's pretty easy despite how many tries this takes me. But anyways, let's move on to Battlefield 3. Commentating Panda back here once again, and we are going to do the annoying, this is the worst one, to be honest, but let's just go ahead and dive right into it. I won't waste any more of your time. I will be pausing a lot though, so keep that in mind. So as soon as the fight starts, again, we are using a Skirk team here. This is not, it's very hard to replace any of the members here. Maybe Elan if she's got some consolations, I guess, but anywho, we're gonna go ahead and just immediately use Shenhe's tap skill so you can go through the boss. Then we're going to use Farina's elemental skill here, and her crit rate should be good enough to get a consistent Favonius proc. Yeah, we get the extra orbs. Now you're going to switch to Escoffier, use her skill. Now you kind of want to, this is going to sound weird, but you don't want to immediately switch to Skirk here. You kind of want to wait a little bit to make those little, the rift gates, basically, so that Skirk's burst can get empowered to the maximum potential here. At least enough to break 1 layer of the shield. So switch to Skirk after, like, give it like a second or two, and then use the whole version of her skill, and then immediately use her burst. See how I hold it, and then immediately go into it? You can tell you get the first layer when you see this little electric circle bar up here that my mouse is circling around. We got 1/3 of the shield down already. So as soon as you see that, swap off of Skirk. Unlike what I did, I don't know what I'm doing here. Switch to Shenhe, you go ahead and use her hold. Now we're going to use her hold elemental skill to generate more particles. Make sure she's actually gathering them, because my Shenhe's energy recharge is not as good, and she's not using a Favonius sword. Excuse me, a Favonius lance. Now here, we just want to swap back to Skirk, because her skill should be off cooldown. You're going to do the hold version again, but do not, I mean, you can't use her burst, but immediately swap off. Now you're going to make sure Farina and Escoffier have their burst. You need to have good energy recharge here. You cannot be wasting a single second just trying to get their burst back. That's why energy recharge is essential. Now make sure you use Farina's burst. Skill, of course. Escoffier's burst to offset the damage that Farina does and heal. Make sure you use her skill. Don't get hit by the lightning like I did. Now use Shenhe's burst and then use her skill one more time. Now basically what we're doing is we're setting up so many debuffs and buffs for our Skirk. We're going to destroy 2 layers of the shield in one go. And I'll show you, I mean, you're seeing exactly how you do it. Once all of this is set up, swap to Skirk, use the burst immediately. But also, if it's not dead yet, if the shield is not dead yet, use your skill now and you should be able to destroy it with your normal attacks. Just keep that in mind, it's not always going to be consistent. Like, you might have some bad crits here and there, so that's okay. Anywho, once you destroy the shield, it's just straight up Skirk things, right? Like, you should know how to do this by now. Make sure you're doing the right rotation with your Skirk. Damage the heck out of this boss, and because we're constantly freezing it, he can't really do much, so you don't really have to dodge, except one combo, which I'll point out in a bit here. But yeah, make sure again, your energy recharge needs to be really heckin' solid here. That your Farina, Escoffier, and Shenhe can usually burst off cooldown. It's okay if Shenhe misses 1 burst during this whole phase, but if you miss 2, you might want to consider some more energy recharge. Anywho, go ahead and set up your buffs again, your debuffs. Once that's all set up, we're just going to go back to using the regular press version of the skill for Skirk and then just mash away. Do your combos. Don't forget to use the burst as well. Keep doing it. You can see he's doing a little bit of attacks here. Just make sure you just dodge out of the way. Don't be in front of the boss, basically. Don't eat that sword. It'll stun you, knock you away, and that's bad. Again, reset. When Skirk's skill is done, use the Farina burst. Use the Escoffier burst. Skill, Shenhe. Did not have enough for a burst here, so I just went back into Skirk's skill here. You see how the constant freezing is like it's messing with him right now. He wants to use his shield so badly right now, but we're freezing him. Keep it up. So, do not fret if you see a shield pop up and you're like really close. It's hard to kill him without constellations on Skirk, you know, before a second shield phase. Now we're gonna just basically do what we did the second time when we were facing the shield, right? We're gonna set up a lot of buffs, debuffs for our Skirk, and then pop her burst to destroy as many layers of the shield as we can. But before we do all that, I'm gonna go through the rotation again. So you want to make sure you use whole version of Skirk's skill, and then immediately swap. Swap to Farina. Swap to make sure you use her skill as well. Swap to Escoffier, same thing. There we go. Then immediately swap back to Skirk once all these buffs, debuffs are on the field. Bam! So you can see here, this is actually super unfortunate, and in any other world we get this immediately. But you can see, he literally has like 1 HP. 1 HP. If I had gone like an earlier crit, or just done like one more attack somewhere, we could have killed him by now, and we would have gotten like 10 seconds or like 7-8 seconds extra time here. But I end up having to destroy one more layer of shield, and there you go. As you can see, he only had like 6,638 HP left, and that is the final fight. That one was a doozy. That rotation, I will not lie to you, is very demanding for sure, and you have to practice it a lot. I had to do it like straight up 3 to 4 hours, and my hands were hurting. Not worth it, but we got through it. Let me show you my character's build and we're out of here. Alright, we're gonna go in order of appearance for my character build. So the first one you're gonna see is my Battlefield 1 team. This is what I use for the Aeon Blight, and I'm gonna go through these relatively quickly, so let's begin. Malvika, there's the character sheet. Again, if I am going too fast for you, just slow down the vid, pause if you want to take a look at something in particular. Talents are 6, 9, and 9, and artifacts, I'll showcase each one, but again, if I go too fast, pause. So Lolly, my builds are still the same, by the way. If you've seen any previous video with me using these characters, I didn't really change anything. There are a few characters I did change certain things for. I'll point them out though when I get to it, but Silali, Malvika are still the same. Shilinin also the same. Oops, sorry. Not much else to say. I mean, there's C0, same build. Navia is still the same build as well. She does have her signature weapon. She still has the same stats, same stuff. If anything, I could use like one of the alchemy thingies to craft a better one. In fact, I could probably gotten her another level in skill. Should also been nice. But that's my team 1. Let's move on to team 2. Not gonna lie, I am very proud of this team because it consists of 2 4-stars. Granted, 2 of them are exalted ones, but you know, still. Anywho, here's my Nilo. I got made fun of for not playing Nilo properly in Imagineering Theater. She does not have her signature weapon. She's using a 4-star Ziphos Moonlight. Her artifacts are all about HP, as much as I could, with some energy recharge here and there, and maybe some flat HP, etc, etc. She's at C0, but I plan to get some of her constellations with the free, the free system. And then there are her talents for 8 and 8, and that's it for her. Nihida. Go, using her signature weapon. Artifact pieces. Just go in reverse order, I guess. C0, 7, 9, and 9. Jingcho. Okay, here I will admit I changed the build a bit. Well, not a bit. Let me not lie to you. I only changed one piece. Okay, this one. Like I said during the thing. If you're not getting the burst fast enough with Jingcho, You need to give him an energy recharge main stat, Sans. That's probably the only thing I did change. C6, of course. There's his talents. I should really get those up. This one I'm proud of. It's Kali, because I haven't used her in a long time, so it's nice to see her here. She's using a Favonius Warbow, and yes, we want to refine that up to 5 so that we can generate those particles every time. She's also using a Deepwood Memory. She has some weird stats, to be honest, but we're just using it for Bloom or Dendro application. Mine is SC6. So 4, 11, and 11. You get those up. That probably would have been nicer as well. Alright, here's my Skirk team. Now, I certainly did change a lot of things for this one. First of all, show character sheet. Weapons. Mistsplitter Reforged. I swapped her to this weapon. I gave her Ayaka's because it's like my best 5-star. High base attack, good crit damage. Good weapon effect that we can take advantage of for the extra damage. That helps out a lot. Artifacts, she's still the same. I did try to go min-maxi some more, like as in just try to get better substats when I could. The thing that I changed here is a crit rate circlet. I did a crit rate main stat circlet because you need to crit the shield for the Fatui guy. So my crits were not consistent, and that's why sometimes when I would burst on the shield, I get, you know, like, oh, how come I only got like half the shield this time instead of the full thing? Oh, it's because I'm not critting enough, so that's why crit rate is important. C0, and I did get her talents way up. She's at 8, 10, and 10. We double crowned the skill and burst. That helped out a lot as well. Arena, also using a Favonius sword for that extra energy. Golden Troop. You can give her like a Scroll of Cinder City if you want her to give even more elemental buffs. Up to you. C0, 6, 11, 10. Remember, you're seeing an extra skill level because of the Skirk team. That's why. Escoffier, I did change. I gave her a Favonius Lance. And I did change her artifact set. She's using a Tenacity of the Millilith. This is going to give Skirk a bonus 20% attack buff whenever we're using her skill, and that's really nice. Really good, and then the rest are just normal stuff. Honestly, this Tenacity of the Millilith set is not even optimal. I just swapped her to this set with whatever filler pieces I had. C0, by the way, 1, 9, and 9. I did up her talents a little bit for an extra bit of damage. Shenhe, I also double crowned when I get to her talents. She's using the Skyward Spine. You can also give her like a Wavebreaker's Fin if you want for more attack. This is just full on, how much attack can I give my Shenhe? And the answer is yes. My Shenhe has over, well, I think there's some buffs being into effect right now, but she has, I think by default, like 3,200 attack around there. But yeah, anyways, just as much attack as we can get, and energy recharge is also nice. C0, but I plan to go for Constellations with the free thingy in the future. And then for her talents, I double crown these. More buff damage and more resistance shred is huge. And that's it for my characters. Sorry for the long video, it's because I yap too much. This was probably, again, one of the hardest things I've ever done in Genshin, and it's mainly because, yeah, I didn't have INEFFA and I didn't have LAUMA. If I had those characters and they were built, or even Flynn's, right, in the future, I'm sure my time would have been way easier, but because Hoyoverse is, like, really hard coding these, like, specific needs for these bosses, it becomes very challenging, and very annoying. I don't know if I want to do this again in the future. If you want me to do it again in the future, you gotta let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, say something. And if you need help, I will do my best to answer your questions and offer advice as best as I can. But I barely got out of it myself, or I barely beat this myself. So good luck to you. You're trying fearless mode. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.